A few years ago, if you were smart, the world belonged to you. Doctors, lawyers, programmers, scientists, intelligence was power. The smarter you were, the safer your future felt, because for centuries, human civilization was built on a simple rule. The smartest people rise to the top. Schools were built around it. Universities were built around it. Careers, companies, entire economies were built around it. It was the oldest promise of the modern world. Study hard, become smart, and life will reward you. For a very long time, that promise was true. Then, something impossible happened. The machine started writing, coding, reasoning, creating. And suddenly, the smartest people on Earth became afraid, not because AI is evil, not because robots are taking over, but because, for the first time in history, intelligence itself has competition. And the terrifying part is, AI isn't attacking humanity. It's attacking the rule that made smart people valuable, because AI isn't replacing intelligence. It's making intelligence abundant, and when something becomes abundant, it becomes cheap, which leads to a terrifying question. If intelligence is no longer rare, what happens to people who built their entire identity around being smart? For thousands of years, human history followed a simple rule. The people who understood the world controlled it. The astronomers predicted eclipses, the philosophers shaped civilizations, the scientists unlocked nature, the engineers built empires. Knowledge was power, and intelligence was the rarest resource on Earth. In modern times, intelligence wasn't just respected, it became currency. The more you had, the more power you possessed. The world rewarded intelligence. Schools were built to measure it. Universities were designed to certify it. Companies competed to hire it. Your intelligence became your identity. If you were smart, you had security. If you were exceptional, you had status. The Industrial Revolution terrified people. Imagine living in England in the early 1800s. For generations, your family had woven cloth by hand. Then one day, a machine appears. It works faster, cheaper, longer. At first, people laughed. Then, they panicked. Factories spread. Entire professions disappeared. Workers smashed machines. Riots broke out. People believed machines are stealing our future. But history surprised them. Machines replaced muscles, not minds. That was the deal. Humans would think. Machines would work. For almost 2 centuries, everyone believed that deal was permanent. They were wrong. Build attention. Humans moved into offices. Schools expanded. Universities flourished. The smartest people became more valuable than ever. Then came computers, the internet, software. Again, people feared automation. Humans adapted because computers could calculate, but they couldn't imagine. They couldn't reason. They couldn't explain. They couldn't create. Intelligence remained human, and the old rule survived. The smartest people still rose to the top until now, because for the first time, machines are not competing with our strength. They're competing with our intelligence. And that's why this revolution feels different. Because this time, we aren't protecting our jobs. We're protecting our identity. For centuries, human civilization was built on one assumption: the smartest people will always matter most. AI isn't attacking humanity, it's attacking that assumption. Because AI isn't replacing intelligence, it's making intelligence abundant, and maybe that's why the smartest people are the most afraid. For most people, AI wasn't a revolution. It was a curiosity, something researchers talked about, something tech companies invested in. Interesting, powerful, but distant. Then, in late 2022, millions of people opened a simple chat window and witnessed something impossible. The machine wrote poems. It explained physics. It passed exams. It created software. It summarized books. It wrote business plans. It answered questions that normally required years of education. And suddenly, people everywhere had the same thought. Wait. If this thing gets better, what happens to my job? That fear spread across the world, not because AI was alive, not because AI was conscious, but because AI became useful. A designer discovered AI could create images. A lawyer discovered AI could summarize contracts. A marketer discovered AI could write campaigns. A programmer discovered AI could write code. And a student discovered AI could become the smartest tutor they had ever met. And slowly, society realized something terrifying. Intelligence was becoming scalable. For centuries, if you wanted expertise, you hired experts. Today, a teenager with AI can sometimes outperform a professional working alone. Build scale. One person with AI can do the work that once required teams. That changes economics. That changes education. That changes power. And maybe it changes what it means to be intelligent. That AI could impact around 300 million full-time jobs around the world. McKinsey believes that by 2030, up to 30% of current work activities could be automated. And perhaps the most astonishing sign of all was ChatGPT itself. It reached 100 million users in around 2 months, faster than Instagram, faster than TikTok, faster than almost every consumer technology in human history. History rarely announces a revolution. Most people realize it only after the world has already changed. This wasn't just another invention. It was a signal that the old relationship between humans and intelligence was beginning to change. But to understand why this moment feels so unsettling, we need to talk about one person. Not a genius, not a billionaire. Alex was 32, software engineer, San Francisco. He spent 10 years becoming exceptional. Then, one afternoon, ChatGPT solved in 30 seconds what had taken him 2 hours. At first, he laughed. Then, he stopped laughing. Then he tried another problem. The machine kept improving. Suddenly, the question wasn't, can AI code? The question became, what exactly makes me valuable? And Alex wasn't alone. Millions of people started asking the same question. Because for the first time in history, you no longer needed to be the smartest person in the room. You just needed access to the smartest machine. And that's when the old rule started to break. For centuries, intelligence created scarcity. AI creates abundance. And abundance changes everything. Because AI isn't replacing intelligence, it's making intelligence abundant. And maybe that's the most disruptive idea of the 21st century. Question: if intelligence becomes abundant, what becomes valuable? This is where the story becomes personal, because smart people aren't afraid of technology. They're afraid of becoming ordinary. Imagine looking at a machine and realizing the thing you spent your entire life building can now be rented for the $20 a month. And maybe that's why AI feels different. Because this time, we aren't protecting our jobs. We're protecting our identity. Imagine spending 10 years becoming a doctor, 15 years becoming a lawyer, 20 years mastering software, thousands of hours, sacrifices, stress, identity, and suddenly a machine performs 80% of your daily work. Not perfectly, but well enough. You don't just lose efficiency, you lose certainty, you lose exclusivity, you lose the feeling that your intelligence makes you special. And that hurts, because humans don't work only for money. We work for respect, purpose, identity, status. For centuries, your profession answered the question, who are you? I'm a doctor, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer, I'm a programmer. But AI introduces a terrifying possibility. What if who you are is no longer rare? This is the real fear. Imagine graduating in 2040. You studied harder than ever. Perfect grades, top university, outstanding resume. And then you discover your biggest competitor isn't another student. It's an AI. It never sleeps, never gets tired, never complains, never asks for a salary. And every month, it becomes smarter. What does ambition mean in a world where intelligence is infinite? What does success mean when intelligence is free? What happens to status when everyone has access to genius? These questions terrify people, because for centuries, human civilization was organized around scarcity. Scarcity of knowledge, scarcity of expertise, scarcity of intelligence. AI is destroying that scarcity. And when scarcity disappears, power shifts. The old rule breaks. The smartest people are discovering that intelligence may no longer be enough. And that realization might become one of the greatest identity crises in human history. History teaches us something strange. The winners of revolutions are rarely the people who resist change. They're the people who learn faster than everyone else. The Industrial Revolution didn't reward the strongest workers. It rewarded the people who adapted. The Internet Revolution didn't reward the people who ignored computers. It rewarded the people who learned how to use them. And AI may follow the same pattern, because AI may replace tasks, but humans are more than tasks. AI can generate answers, but humans decide which questions matter. AI can create options. Humans decide which future to build. AI can optimize systems. Humans decide what is worth optimizing. And perhaps that difference will define the next century. The future may belong not to humans, not to AI, but to people who know how to combine both. Because intelligence is no longer enough. The question is, who can use it best? Because intelligence alone is becoming abundant, but wisdom, judgment, taste, human connection, those may become the most valuable assets on Earth. For decades, people asked, How can I become smarter? The future may ask a different question. How can I become more human? Because the smartest person tomorrow may not be the person who knows the most. It may be the person who learns, adapts, collaborates, and evolves the fastest. Maybe the winners of the AI age won't be the smartest humans. They'll be the humans who understand how to dance with intelligence instead of competing against it. And that's a very different game. The future. Imagine the year 2035. You wake up. Your AI agent has already answered emails, managed finances, scheduled meetings, planned your vacation, negotiated contracts, and built a business strategy. You never touched a keyboard. Humanoid robots work in factories. AI scientists discover medicines. AI tutors teach billions of students. AI lawyers draft contracts. AI doctors analyze diseases. And brain chips connect humans directly to computers. The boundary between human intelligence and machine intelligence begins to blur. At first, it feels exciting. Then, it feels strange, because humanity has always believed something, that no matter how advanced our machines become, there will always be one thing that belongs to us: intelligence. But what happens when that stops being true? What happens when intelligence becomes abundant? When everyone has access to genius? When every child has an AI tutor? Every company has AI employees. Every creator has AI collaborators. And every human has access to intelligence greater than their own. What happens to ambition in that world? What happens to competition? What happens to identity? Imagine graduating in 2045. Your classmates aren't just humans. Your competitors aren't just humans. Your co-workers aren't just humans. You are collaborating and competing with intelligence that never sleeps, never forgets, never gets tired, and improves every single day. For thousands of years, being smart was enough. In the future, it may not be, because intelligence is becoming abundant. And maybe the question of this century isn't, can AI think like humans? But can humans become something AI can never be? For thousands of years, humans asked, can machines think? Now, machines are forcing us to ask something far more important. If intelligence is no longer unique, what is? Creativity? Love? Consciousness? Meaning? Or maybe being human was never about intelligence in the first place. Maybe the most important invention of the AI age won't be artificial intelligence. It will be a new definition of what it means to be human. Because this isn't the end of humanity. It's the end of a world where intelligence alone made you special. The old rule is dying. The rule that said the smartest people always win. The future may belong to something else. The curious, the adaptable, the creative, the courageous, the people who refuse to become obsolete. And right now, all of humanity is standing at the edge of that transformation, not asking, can AI replace us? But something far more unsettling. Long pause. For thousands of years, humans asked, can machines think? Now, machines are forcing us to ask something far more important. If intelligence is no longer unique, what is? And maybe the answer to that question won't just decide the future of AI, it will decide the future of humanity. The old world rewarded what you knew. The new world may reward who you become.